everybody. Welcome back to Cast 11. I am here today with Ryan Glennan. He is the new commercial banker for National Bank of Arizona. Ryan, you want to tell us a little bit about your role, what you do over there?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for having me. This is great. Appreciate the opportunity to come and share my story. I've been with National Bank of Arizona now, pretty new. Been there about a couple months now, and really overseeing kind of the Flagstaff and Prescott market for commercial lending. So, anything from small business, SBA, startup type loans, all the way up to multifamily development, hospitality. Anything commercial real estate related can kind of do the full breadth of it. And so came to National Bank. I was really excited about their commitment to really kind of reinvigorate in the rural markets, get some new people hired and grow the team. And that's what we're doing. We're really on the offensive. So excited to be there.
Awesome. So is this new for you, commercial banking, or just new to National Bank of Arizona?
Just new to National Bank of Arizona. I've actually been a commercial banker for over 20 years. Started right out of college. And I've been a commercial lender in the Prescott market for 18, 19 of those years. So really experienced. I grew up in Prescott after college and a little bit of stint in the Valley and in Milwaukee. I moved back to Prescott, and so I've been back here since 2007.
That is what is so important to me, is if I'm going to do business, especially a home loan, banking loan, even a car loan, I want to do business with the guy that I'm going to see at Costco on Saturday, because at that point it's like, you see your customers everywhere you go, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you said it. I mean, I live here. I'm involved in the community here. I'm on some boards in the community, Launch Pad Teen Center being one of them. Great organization. Yeah. So, I see people, not only at the grocery store or Costco, but I see them at various fundraising events or, around town at different, nonprofit things that I'm involved with. So really, you just want to take care of your client, like you would take care of your best friend or someone in your family. Right. And, no one I think gets up in the morning and, looks forward to banking that day.
Awesome.
It's all about the people, right? So I view kind of my job is trying to make that process as seamless as possible.
I believe people do business with people.
Yeah.
It's, you'll drive a little farther, you'll, pay a little bit more if you know the person and you really like the person, you can trust the person. It's just, there's no price tag on that. It's just being able to, do business with people that you're going to see all the time or share the same ideals. So,
right.
National Bank of Arizona, how long have they been around? Because I know of course I've heard of them, but how long have they been here?
Yeah. So they just celebrated 40 years. Actually, I think they're a little north of 40 years in business now.
Gosh.
They were founded in 1984 in Tucson and have grown to 56 branches throughout the state. And in fact, that's kind of one thing I wanted to touch on when you look at banks or financial institutions' commitment to the Prescott area to northern Arizona. National Bank has 7 branches in Yavapai County, 4 in Coconino County. So that's more than virtually any other bank out there. I think maybe there's one other bank that has that many branches in the area. So to have that kind of a commitment from a bank with local leadership is huge.
So obviously I would assume, being a commercial banker, your commitment to business owners has to be top priority, I would assume.
For sure. Yeah, it is. And National Bank shares that same commitment. They have a lot of specialty teams within their group that can handle anything from nonprofits, medical lending, contractors, restaurants, a lot of areas that some banks tend to sort of shy away from. National Bank has actually gone all in on those and have created specialists within those who can really help navigate that process for those specific industries. In addition to that, they do an incredible job with SBA 7A loans, SBA 504 lending. In fact, I was blown away by some of the terms they were able to offer on SBA 7A loans. So really glad to be able to kind of have that in the war chest to be able to offer that to particularly small local customers here in the Prescott area.
That's great. Now, I've got to imagine when you were 12 years old, you were thinking about your future? It was like fireman, police officer, commercial realtor. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I just always wanted to write emails for a living.
Yeah.
No. So it happened, really, I went to school for, actually first for automotive management. I have a degree from Yavapai College in automotive management. Really decided I didn't want to necessarily fix cars for a living, and wanted to own my own business. So I thought, well, I'll go on to ASU and get my business degree and figure out what I want to do after that. Well, I got my degree and still didn't know what I wanted to do. So
Which happens to most people.
yeah. So M&I Bank at the time, they're now another organization, mergers and acquisitions in the industry. They had a position, and they said, "Hey, we can send you to Milwaukee in the middle of winter in January, and you can spend a couple of years there and learn how to be a commercial banker." And it actually really appealed to me. Liked what they had to say, and the career sounded exciting. I really thought I would do it for a couple of years, raise some money, save some money, and then start my own business. And here I am over 20 years later, and love what I do and love helping the clients. And I think I'll be a lifer in banking.
Well, what I think, just chatting with you for a few minutes about this is you have that entrepreneurial spirit. You wanted to own your own business. So I'm sure you looked into that and the challenges that face business owners. I run a small business outside of my regular job, and it is so daunting. You don't even know where to begin. So sitting down with somebody and just learning like, okay, this is what I should be doing. Are you doing this? So, the fact that you kind of have that background and understand what it takes to run a business.
Yeah.
That'd be helpful.
Well, and no one, kind of going back to my earlier point, no one gets into, their line of work to do banking. Like, no one starts their business because they're so excited to deal with the banking aspect of it, right? They start it because they're good at, electrical work or plumbing or fixing cars or whatever the case may be. So they start that business. That's what they're good at, that trade, that craft. Really, I'm there to just kind of help them navigate the banking process. Everyone, needs to have a bank, needs to work with the bank. And I just want that to be as easy as possible for people.
Good, very good point. So you've been in this for almost 20 years. What are some major changes that you've seen, or even minor changes that you've seen over the last, even 10 years?
I was thinking about that question a little bit, and unfortunately, I probably have to say regulation, compliance. After the Great Recession, obviously there was just a lot more focus on, making sure that all of the regulations and are abided by, and there were a lot of new regulations that came to be as a result of that.
Well, and probably not a negative thing always, protecting people and protecting their investment. It's important. And
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it is certainly, there are some positive aspects to it. It's all about making sure that we're providing, equal credit to everybody. I mean, a lot of things that a lot of the upstanding financial institutions were doing anyway, we continue to do. But like anything, there were some bad apples, before the Great Recession, and that kind of caused a little bit more. I would just say red tape for everybody. So even though I've always felt like I've done the right thing in banking, and the organizations that I've worked for certainly do as well. There's just a lot of like red tape and checks, boxes to check and all that kind of stuff. Again, going back to customers don't always understand all of the things that go on behind the scenes, so that we can just kind of make a simple loan to them. And so we try to simplify that process as much as possible for that customer.
It's like, Ryan, you've got a whole vault full of money. Just go fix it.
We could just do a handshake. It's, and it's
back in the day, right?
Yeah. There's mountains of paperwork and emails and approvals and stuff for, virtually everything we do. And all of it, is really by necessity.
Well, 20 some years ago, you could just buy a house with a signature, and we saw where that put us. So that's, you got to be careful, and those things are in place. So you're from Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
You moved to Milwaukee. Why'd you come back?
So the Milwaukee thing was always going to be a temporary circumstance. So it was a training program that M&I Bank had, and not a lot of banks really have those kind of training programs anymore. I guess that's another thing that's
Mhm.
changing is the kind of old school bankers who can be a banker in the local market and have some authority and leadership to be able to do things has disappeared a little bit.
Old school, anything. I used to work
Yeah.
at Pacific Bell,
Uh huh.
which is the old Ma Bell. The
Yeah.
training that you get back in the day, no, they can't touch that anymore. I mean,
Right. There's so much, centralized processes
mhm.
and gathering an application and sending it off somewhere. And it's like, well, maybe it'll get approved,
Yeah.
maybe it won't. I still think of myself as kind of that older, little bit older generation of bankers where, I can sit down and look at a financial statement and kind of figure out what we might be able to do sort of on the spot there. And then, that's not to say that I don't have other people that help me through the process, but it's not just kind of a throw it up against the wall and see
Right.
if it sticks sort of a thing. So I came back to Phoenix from because I was at ASU, went to Milwaukee, came back to Phoenix, and I was there for a little over a year. And honestly, I just couldn't deal with the heat after growing up in Prescott.
Yeah.
I just didn't like, not being able to go outside, burn your hands on things and all that stuff for the whole
Not
summer.
not turning into dust the minute the sunlight hits you outside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So went on about a week and a half long vacation, I think, in August. And we went to Angel Fire, New Mexico, which is a ski resort town. Came back, spent some time in Prescott. And then on the way back to Phoenix, it was just like, what are we doing? Why? And so we just decided at that point, we're just going to make it work in Prescott one way or the other. And fortunately, I was able to transfer back or up here with the bank. And then I left and I joined a small community bank here after that.
So obviously Prescott is super important to you. You chose to come back here, parents here, all that good stuff. What are ways that you're involved in the community outside of the bank?
So I'm on the board of the Launchpad Teen Center. I'm their treasurer. I'm a co-treasurer. They have adult and teens on the board, so it's kind of fun to be able to have a teen treasurer along with you. And I've been doing that for probably about 9 years as well. And then I did some other things. I was on the board of the Arizona Bankers Association for a little while. I'm no longer on that board, just to kind of focus here on the local market. I've been part of the Signature Series that has been going on for a few years now. I helped, was the initial committee member on that. And the Prescott Area Commercial Group I've been involved with in the past. I've been involved with helping the Prescott Area Association of Realtors with new site search. And
What I love is Launchpad.
yeah,
I mean, to be able to, those kids are great there. I mean, they run their little store. They have, and to have, it's funny, like I can just see you and this teenager going over the books and he's like, no, Ryan, you're wrong. Look at this number right here. Like kids know everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's really a good opportunity to get to, kind of share some of what I've learned with them. But yeah, some of those teens are incredibly impressive. I certainly didn't have my stuff together like they did when I was in high school. And I didn't have anything in the community available to me like that either. So it's a lot of fun. My daughter is now involved in the Launchpad. And so it's fun to see her be part of the leadership group there as well. And just a great resource for the community. I would say that just to give them a little plug here that I don't know of any other organization that does quite so much with so little because they really make every dollar count. And the return to the community, I think, as far as, keeping teens out of trouble and providing resources for teens and development opportunities for teens is huge.
yeah, to watch those kids and, I've dealt with people, especially working here that have been from like the CASA side where they're dealing with, kids in foster home and to see these kids that are, they're just involved in something, get these kids involved in something and then to have mentors like you that are in there and just helping shape them to be something, to better themselves. And they're just such an impressive group down there. I'm going to ask you one last question because this is always my favorite one. If you weren't a commercial banker, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh boy.
This is it, right?
It changes
Yeah.
from time to time, but maybe a pilot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scuba instructor in Jamaica. That's what I want
Well,
to do all the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
A pilot would be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to be a pilot. I've also thought at times in the past, maybe an engineer of some sort, different things like that. I like, yeah,
Yeah.
one of those.
I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting to get to know you a little bit, which I think is a good thing. You've been around the community forever. You obviously know what you're doing. You've been, doing this for 20 years. If you're out there and you're, trying to navigate being a business owner, understanding, what does this mean to me? What do these changes mean to me? Can they just call you? They book an appointment with you? What's the best thing to
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just give you my cell phone number, 480-203-4090.
Okay.
It is the easiest way to get a hold of me. I always have it on. I get calls, all the time, nights
Ryan,
and weekends and the whole thing, and willing to answer that, within reason. But yeah, always there.
He is getting his scuba instructor certifications.
Right. Yeah. Every once in a while, you got to turn it off. But for the most part, I'm there. I'm available. And again, that kind of comes back to just being a person in the community who can be there for your team.
Yeah. So if you see Ryan at Costco, just stop him and say, "Hey, check this out for me."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Give him a call. We'll post your number in the comments too, so people can reach out to you. But like I said at the beginning of this, people do business with people, and I'm so glad that you came and came on the podcast. It is just one of those great ways to show people that are listening and watching that we have these amazing people in our community, and you're doing great things for our residents, people moving to the area. Because we get lots of listeners outside of Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're thinking of relocating to the Prescott community, Ryan's your guy. If you're looking to move your business, if you're looking to, buy some commercial property.
Yeah, absolutely. And just along those lines, that we have mortgage bankers. We've, obviously have deposit products. If you're moving to town and you're looking for a bank, get in touch with me. I'd be happy to, put you in front of the right people.
Great one-stop shop.
Yep.
You have it all. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm going to try to get you back in here and do another podcast. And thanks. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.